Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, and Matt the Mortgage Guy is back. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I don't know what it is. You and I don't talk for 3 or 4 weeks, and mortgage rates go down. Is the market trying to tell us something?
I don't know, but I'll take it. Whatever the case may be, having an extra 40, 50,000 in buying power, having a mortgage payment that fits the budget, all the good that comes out of mortgage rates coming down for, my buyer clients, I'll take it.
Yeah. I think I read in Mortgage Business Daily that mortgage rates, these are then just averages, peaked at over 7.11, 7.12, something like that. And now they're like 6.3. Am I close?
Yeah, well, they've come down over a full percentage point.
Oh, wow.
I think that we had, with Mortgage News Daily's kind of nationwide average, it approached 7.5. It was seven
Okay.
four-ish in that area, and I think
Got
this
it.
week we're in the 6.3s. So it's a really short jaunt, little bit of pay to get to 5.99 for well qualified buyers on a primary residence.
Wow.
Um, and with all the other things that we're doing, the 2-1 buy downs, there's 1-0 buy downs, there's 1-1 buy downs, the ability to negotiate and get seller credit, all the stuff that's happening. The mortgages don't look nearly as ugly as they did, 4, 6, 8 weeks ago. And the application data shows that
Yeah.
people are like, okay, I wasn't fancy for it at 7,
Right.
6.75. I was on the fence, 6.5, 6.25. Let's talk.
No, this is really interesting because I didn't know we were going to go this way, but this is pretty awesome. So I've said for about a month now what we learned in the summer, July and August, that 6% was a threshold, right? And again, I talked to Beth and Omar and all these top agents, and they told me how their markets turned off when rates went over 6. Then they backed up, they had business came on, and then they went to 7. Crickets, right? Again, buyer demand, supply, everything I've talked about on this channel. I've been saying for the last 3 or 4 weeks that if owner occ best credit can get sub 6 again, which I think you just told me with very little, I don't know what you call it, fees or whatever. And oh, by the way, get the seller to pay them, right? You can get 3% seller credits, have them buy down the rate. We can now get under 6.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, literally locked one Monday, and I can't quote specific rates, but a sub 6% rate with a very small buy down, because most people that follow this channel understand that, even a month ago, yeah, you can get 5.99, but it might have cost 3 points. Now it might cost a quarter of a point, right? So on a $500,000 loan, you only have to pay $1,250 to get a 5.99. And if you get a larger seller credit, maybe you structure it where it's 3.99, 4.99, then 5.99. Maybe you do a permanent buy down to the mid 5s, whatever the case may be. We're locking loans in with a 5.
That's pretty awesome. That's cool. Because again, one of the things that I see, again, I've been calling, and I think for a while there, it was kind of scary. I will freely admit that for the first time, I was like, man, these mortgage rates, these kind of things are kind of wild. I think George Gammon talked about it. Maybe Patrick Bet David talked about mortgage rates at 10%. And it was a couple of weeks where I'm like, if I stand on one leg and squint, maybe I could see that as possible. But that's now off the table. 10's off the table, 9's off the table. I'll even say 8's are off the table. I think the peak is in for the next 12 months, which is cool to say. But I didn't realize that people can get under 6% now. And why that's important is I still think we have crazy supply destruction, which means people are taking their properties off the market at record rates. People are choosing to rent their homes instead of sell them. They're staying put. They're not moving up. All of this will keep supply low. All of this will mean that we don't do 4 million transactions next year. But what does this mean for price? It means price is firm. We probably still have longer days on market. We probably do all that normal market stuff. But this is not going to be a 20% crash, because if you don't have the inventory and rates are going down, you bring the marginal buyer back. I mean, I don't know about your portfolio, but I'm going to guess, just wild ass guessing in here, 10, 15% increase in a month. Because again, 7.4 to 5.99, that's the marginal buyer comes back, is what I guess I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. I think applications for us are probably up 20% from the worst of it, right? And when you look at the, nationwide mortgage applications, that they come out with every week, that might be up 1% or 2%, but for sure, owner occ buyers come back to the market, and that demand increases. Like, to your point too, I've said this to people, that where I think a floor gets created to where, home prices cannot go down 15 or 20% is when rates come down and demand comes up. Demand comes up and creates this floor. Because to your point, like, there's no flood of inventory, and
Builders are cutting back, rate lock in. Like, who's going to, I mean, you did the math for yourself. You got a 2.8% mortgage. You want a bigger home. You did the math and your payment doubles. Like, I don't need that nice a home. I don't need that extra bedroom. I'm good.
Right. Yeah. And so, some of the stuff that got out of whack at 7%, where it's like, holy cow, do I really want to pay 2,800 when I can rent this place for 24? I know I'm going to lock in this payment and I can refinance later, but enough people decided I'm not going to buy right now. They'll be back. Right. And if rates continue to trend down, those numbers will increase on the demand side. And so, I think this probably leads into what me and you are seeing, where great opportunity. The ones that are playing offense, whether it's an investor or owner, are out there writing an offer 50,000 below list, 15,000 to buy down my rate. All these great things. I'm not telling you act now. This is going to go away next week, but in the spring, if we've got an environment where rates are lower and more buyers come back, you're not going to be able to have as much leverage as you currently have.
Yeah, the best time to buy is when everybody's not. I don't know what it is. Everybody wants to go with the herd. That herd scares the hell out of me. So I've actually done 2 deals in the last 6 weeks, now 7 weeks. I got one flip that's already back on the market today. So again, I love to strike when everybody's out. So you told me earlier, owner occs with a very small buy down can get a 5. What if an investor brought in 25%, great credit, all that stuff? Could they get something in the 5s?
That would probably be pretty expensive, but investors, in I guess in my business, from what I see, like, especially the buy and hold that are keeping it for a long time, don't mind paying a couple points, so with a few points paid, they're definitely in the mid 6s. And again,
so they're not 8.5, they're 6.5.
Right. With some point buy down, which, like you said, let's have the seller pay it. Right. Yeah. The seller's got something sitting on the market for 162 days. I try not to laugh sometimes when I've got a seller who I'm calling. Hey, my client just submitted an offer. Just want to let you know we've got a fully pre-approved file. We can close this thing and get your seller paid in 3 weeks. Well, the offer came in kind of low, so I don't know. I let the agents negotiate that part, but so much of me wants to say, like, 161 days in, if your seller wants to sell, this one's getting presented and you guys are discussing how to put this together.
Yeah. The idea of that is either take it off the market or not. I mean, it's
crazy. Which, man, I have some interesting conversations. I don't know, if we got time to get into all of them, but there's a duplex in my area that I had a client look at, and I got the client feedback and the agent feedback. This is nice. And this thing's, near Sac State. It's something that I would personally want to buy. And it had sat for a long time. I know that the longer you sit, the more negotiation there is. And so I asked the agent, because the price hasn't moved. The price has stayed the same. And the agent was like, this seller's not willing to negotiate. And I can't help but laugh, right? Because your price in April of 22 got no buyers. In April of 22, the payment was this. Then it went to this and this and this and this and this with rates. What universe does this listing agent and this seller live on, where they think that it didn't work for an investor at $2,500 a month? Maybe we'll sell it this month when it's $3,100 or whatever those numbers are, right? Yeah. And so, in those cases, I think you got to have a strong agent to just tell the seller, listen, if you don't want to sell, all good. Let's take it off. This is not doing anybody any favors.
Wasting my time, wasting my money.
Right. And I can imagine the listing agent is getting calls from buyers saying, I see you at 625, but it's been a half a year. Would your seller entertain 540? I think I might write. And knowing what I know about this specific one, they won't entertain that. They want a 6 in front of it, but what they want and what the market's willing to give them
that's why days on market's going to go up. And yeah, it's crazy stuff. What I want to tell investors, and again, I'm living example. I've had walkthrough videos of projects going on. This is the time to do the work. If you're lucky enough to be able under 10 loans and you can get the best rates, I strongly suggest Matt the Mortgage Guy. Figure out what your rate is today, because good news is it's not in the 8s. Where would they reach out to you, Matt?
Go to greatmortgagebroker.com, fill out the form. We'll be in touch. We're nationwide. We're happy to help. It's fun working with investors. They're looking at stuff all across the country. And
write
I like
your offers, nothing at list price. Get the 3% closing cost credit. Only great deals, and Matt the Mortgage Guy can help you.
Happy to help. Greatmortgagebroker.com. Thanks, Mike.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.